Hi, welcome to Bar Cart Bookshelf, a video series about books and the drinks they inspire. My name is Elias, and today we're talking about Lovely Creatures by KT Bryski. Lovely Creatures is the second novella in the 2024 Psychopomp novella series. Psychopomp is a small press interested in death. We discussed the first novella in this series, A Voice Calling, earlier in the spring, and now we have something very different, where A Voice Calling was a sort of historical gothic. Lovely Creatures is a fairy tale by way of the Weird West. It's got elements of, classic European fairy tales, but with a distinctly North American flavor. And North American, not American, because KT Bryski, the author, is Canadian, but with that frontier quality, that Mountain West quality to it all, dry dust and rolling wagons, or in this case, a great traveling wooden whale. It's the story of a young woman off in search of her sister, whom she finds in the company of a traveling show with the mysterious and enigmatic Mr. Once Upon a Time as the MC, and a beautiful dancing swan maiden, a non-binary wolf with a penchant for baking, and her sister who is asleep in a glass casket. And all the while the devil's riding with her hounds and dust storms are blowing in, and it's just deliciously voicey and familiar and otherworldly at the same time. The wooden whale is this traveling sort of mechanical self, but also alive and sentient and not speaking but knowing, and just absolutely a novella that I wanted to have in an audiobook because you can hear it. It's got this tremendous quality of voice to it, and one that's sort of slow and dry and dripping from the tongue, and a story that's got a little bit of whiskey in it, and all of that sort. Just really dry as dust, and perfect for this time of year, where it's the end of August and we're going into September and everything's turning golden and sere, and it's still gonna be 95, 96, 97 degrees hot. And bones, and traveling along towards the river at the end of the world on the far side where the devil can't get you. So yeah, I had a good time with this one. And of course, when I have a good time with this one, we gotta have a drink. Our drink today is the Dust Devil, and we're gonna get started by dampening the edge of a glass. I'm using a large 8-ounce coupe glass, and then I have here a tray of kosher salt. And I like to use a damp paper towel to dampen the edge of that glass, just because that really does help the salt or sugar or whatever we're rimming with to adhere to the edge of the glass. That bit of moisture really does make the difference. And we're going to dip that down into the tray and just give it a good solid turn around there until, like meat and salt, we're evenly coated along the edge. Perfect. There you go. Nice, lovely salted rim there, and we can set our glass aside while we make the rest of our cocktail. Going to take 2 ounces of bourbon whiskey. I like bourbon. It's sipping whiskey. I'm from Kentucky. I have to like bourbon. But even if I weren't, it's the best whiskey around. We're going to get 2 ounces of that. Oh, spill a little in the glass. Into our mixing glass. Lovely, lovely. And then add our modifiers. Get 2 ounces of the whiskey. Shake up my tea syrup just a little bit here. And get 3/4 of an ounce of tea syrup. This is made with equal parts strongly brewed black tea and sugar. Really lovely simple syrup variation that has the richness and the sort of slight bitterness of our black tea in there. And then for that dryness, that dust that I was talking about, we've got 1/4 of an ounce of Amaro Alta Verde, which is just deliciously bitter with just a hint of sweetness. It's this herbal, piney, very, very dry, going to give you a really lovely dry mouth quality while being delightfully herbally complex. And so we've got our primary ingredients in our mixing glass, nice and easy breezy, and then we'll add our ice and give it a stir. The devil and her hounds, the devil and her hounds and her fixated hunt as she rides on these dust storms. Really very evocative and queer as well. We're seeing explorations of gender. The wolf is non-binary, uses they-them pronouns. Emmeline, the swan maiden, and Bryony, the primary character, this young woman in search of her sister, have a strong connection with each other and an immediate sort of attraction that they're figuring out between themselves. I mean, knowing themselves, but at an interpersonal level, figuring things out. When we're at roughly equilibrium between our ice and our liquid, we're going to take our julep strainer and strain that into our prepared cocktail glass. Perfect. And then, as you can see, we do have some space left over in the glass. You can see there's still quite a bit of space in there. And so I'm going to take some sparkling apple cider, a little non-alcoholic cider here, and top that. Just get this on open. Lovely. The apples appear in this as well, as is often the case in many a good fairy tale. And the apples of the Devil's Garden. We're going to give that a nice top there. Give it a little bit of that apple brightness just to blend with all of our other ingredients. And there you have it. This is the Dust Devil, inspired by Lovely Creatures by KT Bryski. Lovely Creatures is available now. I've got a link to snag it in the description down below, as well as links to various forms of social media, including Twitter, Instagram, and Blue Sky, where there's always a written version of today's recipe. We also have a link to pre-order my book, Cocktails and Consoles, which will be available September 10th. It's 75 cocktails and mocktails inspired by the wonderful world of video games. Everything from Pac-Man and Tetris on up to Hades and the latest Assassin's Creed. I think y'all are really going to enjoy that. As always, please hit the like button. It really makes me so happy when you do. Comment down below. Try the drink. Let me know what you think. Subscribe so you never miss an episode, because we've got some really great books that we're going to be talking about as summer ends and we head into fall. And so, until next time, cheers.